Shavua Tov Rabotai, it is the 36th day of the Omer. We are continuing Mishnah Yomi in the 5th parak of Sheviit, which we begun yesterday, and we are on the 3rd Mishnah, Luf She'avra Alav Sheviit. A luf, which we meant yesterday, which is some sort of bulb that also sprouts and grows leaves. Some say it's a Solomon's lily, or it's a type of onion or a bean, which has a bulb in the ground and leaves coming out of the ground. And this one grew during the Shvius, grew leaves during Shvius. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Im laktu anim et olav lakatu. If the anim picked the leaves, gesunter heit, keep the leaves, they did good. Im lav, yase cheshbon im anim. If they didn't pick off these leaves that grew during Shvius, the owner of this luf needs to make a cheshbon of the proportion of the leaves that grew during Shvius and give that to the poor. So what is going on, Rav Osai? It's the issue of bior, which we've mentioned before. Bior, there's a machlokus actually what it is and how to do it. We'll get into that in Parak Zion, the 7th parak, coming up pretty soon. But Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion that after bior, however we'll define it there, the produce can only be taken by the poor. I mean, we'll summarize by saying really bior is like putting it out for everyone. You could bring Shemitah produce into your house as long as it's available in the field for everyone, but after a certain time, we're going to see in Parak Zion, you really got to put it out for everyone. But by everyone, Rabbi Yehuda says it's only the aniyim, only the poor are entitled to it. Rabbi Yossi disagrees and says not just the poor, but anybody, any person, not just aniyim, but even the owner itself could put it out, and then if he needs to eat it, take it back in. So here, Rabbi Eliezer is holding like Rabbi Yehuda and saying only the poor were entitled to it. So if there are some leaves left over that grew during Shemitah and would have been property of the Aniyim, then he has to make a cheshbon, the owner of this luf, of the proportion the Aniyim didn't take that are Shemitah leaves that really should belong to them. Mishnah continues, Rabbi Shua Omer im loktu Aniyim et olav lokatu. Whatever leaves they picked during Shemitah, when it was hefker available, good, they picked, fine, keep it. Im lav, ein lanim olav cheshbon. If they didn't pick all the leaves that grew during Shemitah, the owner of this luf is entitled to keep the leaves because he holds, like Rabbi Yossi, we're going to see in Parak Zion, that even the owner is entitled to keep it after beer. Mishnah Doled, luf shel erev shvius, a luf that was planted in the 6th year, shenichnas l'shvius, and it kept growing during the Shemitah year. V'chen bitzolim haketzonim, also the summer onions. V'chen pu'a shel idit, and the madder, with 2 D's, that's growing in fine soil. Idit is the best soil. Beit Shammai omrim okrin otan b'ma'arufot shel etz. You could uproot them to eat them on the 7th year using a shovel made of wood. So these items are sitting in the ground, and they started growing in the 6th year, and now it's the 7th year, and yeah, you want to go ahead and you want to eat it. And you can eat it. It was planted during the 6th year, and you want to eat it on the 7th year, fine. But you don't want to be digging in the dirt with a metal shovel, because that looks like you're preparing the dirt, clearing out rocks, as we saw before was an issue. In the last paragraph, we talked about clearing rocks, dung heaps. We don't want it to look like you're working the land or preparing it for plowing and planting on Shemitah. So you would use a shinui, a heker, something that people know you're not preparing the land. So you'd use a wooden shovel, a wooden spade, not a metal one. But hila omrim bekardumot shel matachot. You could use a metal tool, but you use a kind of a pickaxe. They call it a matok in the art scroll. It has a sharp end and a more broad end, so you can use it for digging or for splitting wood or for kind of splitting rocks. So you could use this tool. It's not really the normal tool used, but you could even use a metal one. People are going to see that you're using a different tool. They're not going to assume you're preparing the land for illegal activities on Shemitah. Modim befua shel tzlayut. They agree with the madder growing in rocky ground. She'okri in the top bekardumot shel matachot. You can use these pickaxes, these matoks made of metal, because it's rocky land, and people aren't going to assume that you're preparing a very rocky area for normal plowing planting, because that's not typically done. That's a whole avodah. So they let you use whatever tool you need to get at these items in the ground that you want to eat or want to use that were planted in the 6th year. Shkoach, Rabbi.